You do not need a lot of food to survive. You only need exactly 6 types of food that can help people over 50 not collapse when things get difficult. But what matters is not the quantity. It is whether you choose right or wrong. Many people still stock up fully, but cannot last more than a few days, just because they ignore what is truly essential. And among these 6 types, there is one that is very simple, very cheap. But it is what determines whether you can continue or not when you are tired, when you are weak, or when you no longer have enough strength to cook. If you miss it, you may prepare everything else correctly, but still fail. So, watch until the end. Maybe just one small detail in this video will completely change the way you prepare. 6. Rice. A stable foundation that helps people over 50 maintain health after the age of 50. The body begins to change in very clear ways. You can no longer skip meals, eat irregularly, or let your body fall into a state of low energy and still be okay like before. Everything becomes more sensitive. Just eating a little off schedule or lacking a little energy, you will feel tired faster, your mind less focused, and sometimes you lose strength for the whole day. And in that context, there is something very simple, but plays a foundational role. Rice. Rice is not a perfect food, but in terms of stability and the ability to sustain long-lasting energy, rice is almost one of the easiest and most practical choices. The reason is very simple. Rice provides carbohydrates, the main energy source that the body, especially the brain, needs every day to function. When you have enough energy, you feel alert, react faster, and your body operates more smoothly. On the other hand, when lacking energy, everything begins to slow down. For younger people, it may just feel slightly hungry. But for people over 50, it can become a real sense of exhaustion. A bowl of hot rice may seem very ordinary, but in reality, it is helping you keep your body functioning steadily day by day. One very valuable point of rice is its flexibility. When you are healthy, you eat rice as usual. But when you are tired, sick, or when you lose your appetite, you can switch to porridge. A thin bowl of porridge is still enough for the body to receive the necessary energy without putting pressure on the digestive system. Not many foods can go with you through so many health conditions like that, and this is exactly why rice is especially suitable for older people. In addition, rice also brings something that many people do not notice: a sense of control. You can look at a bag of rice and know how long you can eat. You can divide portions. You can be proactive in planning your meals. This may sound small, but when health declines or when life becomes unstable, the feeling that you are still in control is extremely important. It helps you worry less and stay calm. Economically, rice is also a very practical choice. It is one of the foods with low cost, but provides a lot of energy. You do not need to spend too much and can still ensure your basic needs every day. For those who are retired or no longer have a stable source of income, this is a clear advantage. However, there is a mistake that many people make, thinking that just having rice is enough. This is not correct. Rice mainly provides carbohydrates, but lacks protein, fat, and many important micronutrients. If you only eat rice for a long time, you may not feel hungry, but your body will gradually weaken, lose strength, and become more prone to illness. Therefore, rice should be considered a foundation, not the entire diet. You need to combine it with protein sources such as beans, eggs, fish, a little healthy fat, and vegetables to create a balanced diet. Another important point, especially for people over 50, is how to eat rice. White rice is very easy to eat, but it raises blood sugar quickly. This does not mean you have to stop eating rice, but you should adjust how you eat it. Eat in moderate amounts. Combine it with vegetables and protein to slow down absorption. And if possible, try less refined types, such as brown rice. No need to be extreme, just a small change can be much better for long-term health. In terms of storage, rice has a very big advantage. If kept in a dry, sealed place, avoiding moisture and insects, rice can be stored for a long time. You do not need a refrigerator, do not need electricity. Just a stable environment is enough. During times of disruption, or when you do not want to depend too much on frequent shopping, this is a very clear strength. But perhaps the greatest value of rice is not in nutrition or economics, but in the feeling it brings. A hot meal, a bowl of porridge when tired. These familiar things help you maintain a sense of normalcy in life. When people face difficulties, what makes them uneasy is not only the lack of resources, but the feeling that everything is getting out of control. And sometimes, just a familiar meal is enough to bring you back to a more stable state. Rice is not what helps you live the best, but it is what helps you maintain energy, keep stability, and not collapse when your body begins to weaken. What matters is not to depend on it, but to clearly understand its role and use it properly. Consider rice as a foundation. And from that foundation, you build a more complete, balanced, and sustainable diet for yourself. If the power goes out for a few days, do you have enough food to not become weak? 5. Beans, a source of protein that helps people over 50 not lose strength. Do you remember the major winter storm that left millions of people in Texas without power for many days? Refrigerators stopped working. Meat and fresh food began to spoil after just 24 to 48 hours. The things that were once considered the most valuable disappeared first. But what is worth noting is this. The people who held on were not the ones with the most food, but the ones who had simple, durable items that did not depend on electricity. And that is when many people realized something. It is not the lack of food that makes you collapse, but the lack of things that keep your body from weakening. After the age of 50, something happens very quietly, but is extremely dangerous. You begin to lose muscle. No pain, no clear signs. It does not happen in a day, but little by little. Strength leaves your body. You walk slower, get tired faster. Even simple tasks become heavy. And if you do not pay attention, there will be a day when you no longer have enough strength to take care of yourself. The cause is very simple: lack of protein. And among the simplest, cheapest, and most durable sources of protein, beans are something worth looking at again. Beans are not the most delicious food, but they do one extremely important thing: keep your body from weakening. The protein in beans helps maintain muscle. The fiber helps stabilize blood sugar, preventing energy crashes, something people over 50 easily face. You can feel full with rice, but you can only maintain strength with protein. Look at a very realistic situation. You have meat in the refrigerator. You have fish. You have fresh food. But just 2 to 3 days without power, the meat begins to spoil. The fish can no longer be used. Fresh food disappears very quickly. What about dried beans? They are still there, not spoiled. No refrigerator needed. No dependence on electricity. This is the clear difference. Meat has more protein, but only lasts 1 to 2 days without power. Canned food is more convenient, but expensive and not suitable for daily long-term use. Beans, on average only about $1 to $2 per pound, providing around 20 to 25 grams of protein per 100 grams dry, are 3 to 5 times cheaper than meat when calculated based on actual protein. To put it bluntly, if you need a protein source for long-term maintenance without spending much money, beans have almost no competition. Meat helps you live better in the day, but beans help you not collapse after a month. But here is what matters. You do not collapse immediately. You weaken gradually. Muscles shrink. Strength declines. You begin to depend more on others. What is frightening is not hunger, but the day you need someone else's help. Just to do things that used to be very simple. This is no longer about not eating enough. This is about losing the ability to live independently. Beans are not a complete solution, but they are a necessary part of the system. Rice gives you energy, but beans give you strength. With just rice and beans, you already have a foundation enough to maintain your body for a long time. But using beans the wrong way greatly reduces the benefits. The simplest method: always soak beans for 8 to 12 hours before cooking. This makes them softer, faster to cook, and easier to digest. If you skip this step, beans will be hard, difficult to digest, and can cause bloating, especially for people over 50. If you want even better results, you can let the beans sprout slightly. At that point, the nutrition increases and the body absorbs it more easily. Another issue that few people talk about. Beans require time and fuel. You need water, you need gas or electricity to cook. So the smart way is to cook once for multiple meals, or use a pressure cooker to save time. Just by changing the way you cook a little, you save a lot of effort. In terms of storage, beans are very simple but must be done correctly. Always keep them dry, sealed, and away from moisture. You can use airtight containers or zip bags. If done properly, beans can last for many years without spoiling. This is one of the rare protein sources that can last that long. You also do not need to store too much. A simple rule: just a few pounds of dried beans at home, and you already have a backup protein source for many weeks. And there is another very practical point. In difficult times, the value of food is not in how tasty or premium it is, but whether it helps you keep going or not. Beans do that. They are not outstanding, not attractive, but they are durable, cheap, and keep you from weakening. Finally, remember one very clear thing. You can live without many things, but if you lack protein for a long time, you will lose muscle. And when you lose muscle, you lose strength, lose initiative, and gradually lose your independence. Beans are not what help you live the best. But when everything else disappears, they are what keep you from becoming the weakest person in the room. Have you ever thought, you are getting weaker not because of age, but because of lack of nutrition? 4. Canned fish. A source of fat that helps people over 50 not slow down. Many people over 50 eat enough, even very regularly, but still feel something gradually declining. Memory. They forget more often, become slower, have more difficulty concentrating. And the dangerous part is, they think it is just age. But that is not entirely correct. Your body can produce many things on its own, but there is one type of fat. It cannot produce enough: omega-3. This is what helps your brain function steadily, maintain memory, and stay alert. Many studies show that older adults lacking omega-3 have a higher risk of faster cognitive decline over time. When you lack it, you do not collapse like when you lack energy, but you will slow down, become more vague, less sharp. You do not notice it immediately. One day, you forget more, become slower. You forget things you just did, forget things that used to be very familiar. And the most frightening part is that you begin to doubt yourself. You do not always realize you are slowing down, but others will notice before you do. Look at a very realistic situation, and also very everyday. When you are tired, when you are sick, or simply a day when you no longer have enough strength to stand in the kitchen for long. You are not always strong enough to cook. Rice? You have to cook it. Beans? You have to cook them even longer. But canned fish? Open it, and you can eat it immediately. No electricity needed, no gas needed, no preparation required. This is something you can use, even when you are at your weakest. But what matters more is what is inside. Not the kind of fat you used to hear about and fear, but the kind your body actually needs. Omega-3. Types like sardines or canned salmon contain high levels of omega-3, helping support both the brain and the heart. For people over 50, this is not just a good option. It is something that should be included regularly. Of course, not all fish are the same. If possible, prioritize those richer in omega-3, such as sardines or salmon. And you do not need to eat too much every day. Just maintain it consistently. The comparison is very clear. Fast food is convenient, but does not sustain the body long term. Fresh meat is good, but depends on storage. Canned fish? Not perfect, but something you can use immediately, anywhere. Carbohydrates give you energy, protein gives you strength, but healthy fats. Determine whether you stay alert or not. But here is what matters. You do not collapse immediately when lacking healthy fats. You become more tired, slower, and your memory gradually declines. This does not happen in one day. It happens slowly, until you are no longer the same as before. This is not just a health issue, but an issue of your ability to control your life. Canned fish is very useful, but it is not everything. You cannot just eat fish alone. If you do, your body will lack energy and you will get tired faster. The simple reality is, each thing has its own role. Rice gives you energy to function, beans help you maintain strength, and fish helps you stay alert. Only when you have all three does the body truly become stable. How to use it is not complicated. You can open it and eat it immediately, or eat it with rice to make a more complete meal. On normal days, it may not seem special, but on days when you are tired and do not want to cook, this becomes extremely convenient. Storage is also simple. Just keep it in a dry, cool place, unopened. It does not need refrigeration. The shelf life is usually around 3 to 5 years. Not as long as rice or beans, but enough for you to always have it at home. The price is also moderate, usually around $1 to $3 per can. Not the cheapest, but not expensive either. And in reality, you do not buy it for the price, but for the convenience. When you need it, it is always ready to use. In difficult times, the value of canned fish is not in being tasty or premium. It is in this. It is something you can eat immediately, with no preparation. And because of that, it also becomes something that can be traded. Because everyone needs something like that. Finally, there is a very simple thing that many people overlook. You can feel full and still feel tired. You can eat enough and still feel slower. The reason is not that you are eating too little, but that you are missing what your body actually needs. Canned fish is not what helps you live the best, but in the moments when you are at your weakest, it is what helps you stay alert enough to keep control of yourself and not let everything slip away. 3. Salt. The smallest thing, but it can make you collapse the fastest. According to health organizations, the human body only needs to lose about 2 to 3% of its water to start affecting brain function. But what many people do not know is this. If you drink water without enough electrolytes, especially sodium, the body can fall into a serious imbalance, even dangerous. Your body does not just need water, it needs water the right way. And that is when something very small becomes extremely important. Salt. Many people think salt is just a seasoning, but in reality, it is not. Salt is what keeps your entire body system functioning. Salt contains sodium, an essential electrolyte that helps regulate water levels, maintain nerve function, and keep the heart and muscles working steadily. When lacking it, your body is not hungry. It is imbalanced. And here is the danger that few people realize. You can go without food for many days, but if you drink water without electrolytes, you can dilute your own blood. You will begin to feel dizzy, tired, disoriented. In severe cases, you can collapse very quickly. You do not collapse from hunger. You collapse from imbalance. For people over 50, this is even more clear. The body begins to retain water less effectively, loses electrolytes more easily, and is more prone to drops in blood pressure. That means you do not need to lack food and can still feel weak. Salt helps keep blood pressure stable, reduce dizziness, and maintain alertness, things that are very important when the body is no longer as strong as before. In difficult situations, salt is not what makes you feel full, but it is what keeps you from collapsing. You may have enough food, but without salt, your system can still break down. The irony is this: salt is one of the cheapest things, yet also one of the most important. You can spend very little money, but in return, you get stability for your entire body. The way to use it is very simple. Besides cooking, you can make a basic electrolyte mix: water, a little salt, and a little sugar. This is the fastest way to help your body maintain balance when needed. In terms of storage, salt almost never spoils. Just keep it dry and away from moisture. Its shelf life is almost indefinite. This is one of the very few things you can buy once and almost never have to worry about again. The strength of salt is that it does not require refrigeration, does not need complex storage, and does not spoil over time. But because it does not provide calories and does not make you feel full, many people underestimate it. This is also a very common mistake. Many people store rice, beans, food, but forget salt. In difficult times, salt also has very high trade value because everyone needs it, but not everyone thinks to store it. If you lack salt, you will not collapse immediately, but your body will become imbalanced, weaken, and be more likely to break down under stress. In severe cases, you can collapse very quickly. A few simple but important tips. Always keep a separate supply of salt for storage. Divide it into smaller portions to avoid moisture. And if needed, combine it with sugar to create a quick electrolyte mix. Finally, remember one very clear thing. You do not need a lot of salt, but you cannot be without it. Salt does not help you live better, but it is what keeps you from collapsing before you can do anything. You do not collapse from hunger. You collapse because you no longer have energy. 2. Peanut butter. What keeps you from exhaustion, many people over 50 still eat every day, even very regularly, but still feel more tired, weaker, no longer as strong as before. The problem is not that they do not eat, but that they do not have enough energy to sustain themselves. There are days when you do not want to eat, do not want to cook, no longer feel any appetite. And that is when the body begins to exhaust itself without you realizing it. Peanut butter solves exactly that problem. One small spoon contains about 90 to 100 calories. Just 2 to 3 spoons are equivalent to a small meal. This is dense energy, something your body can use gradually to maintain strength for many hours. A meal helps you feel full, but a spoon of peanut butter can keep you from collapsing. Carbohydrates help you get through the day, but fats help you get through difficult periods. Look at a very realistic situation. When you are tired, when you are sick, or simply a day when you no longer have enough strength to prepare a meal. Rice needs to be cooked. Beans take even longer. Canned fish can be eaten immediately, but sometimes you still do not want to eat much. Peanut butter? You just need 1 spoon. No preparation, no cooking, no effort. This is something you can eat, even when you no longer feel like eating. Biologically, peanut butter provides fat and high calories, an energy source that helps the body last longer without dropping quickly like sugar. For people over 50, especially those who eat little or get tired easily, this is a major advantage. You do not need to eat a lot, but still have enough energy to continue. In practical value, this is one of the foods with a very good calorie-to-cost ratio. 1 jar costs just a few dollars, but can provide energy for many days. Not the cheapest, but extremely efficient. The way to use peanut butter is actually very simple. You can eat it directly, spread it on bread, or combine it with anything available. But the most valuable point is, you almost do not need any preparation at all. Just open the lid, and it is ready to use. Storage is also not complicated. Just keep it in a dry, cool place. Unopened, it does not need refrigeration. Typically, it can last from 1 to 2 years, long enough for you to always have it at home without much worry. However, there is something many people overlook. Not all peanut butter is the same. Many types on the market contain quite a lot of sugar and additives, which reduce the original nutritional value. If possible, choose natural types. Only peanuts and a little salt. And if you have a peanut allergy, this is something you should completely avoid. If you lack dense energy sources like this for a long time, you will not collapse immediately. But you will gradually become more tired, weaker, and no longer have enough strength to maintain simple daily tasks. So a very simple approach is to always keep a jar at home. You do not need much, but when needed, you know it is there. Finally, there is something very easy to overlook. You can eat every day and still not have enough energy. You may not feel hungry, but still feel exhausted, because your body lacks what helps sustain you long term. Peanut butter is not what helps you live the best, but in the moments when you no longer have the strength to eat, it is what still keeps you from collapsing. 1. Oats. Not the best, but the most practical. Oats are not the best, but in many situations, they are the most practical. It is not always that you do not have food. It is that you no longer have enough strength to eat it. Oats are not outstanding in taste, nor are they the strongest source of energy. But they are something you can use when everything starts to become difficult. Quick to cook, low fuel use, easy to eat. And that is what matters. Look at a very realistic situation. When gas is low, when electricity is unstable, or simply a day when you are too tired and no longer have enough strength to stand in the kitchen for long. You still have rice, have beans, have food, but you cannot cook. You have food, but cannot eat it. Rice needs to be cooked. Beans take even longer. Oats, just hot water, is enough. In normal times, this may not matter. But in difficult times, this is a big difference. Some people have shared that during a few days without power, they could not eat rice, did not have the strength to cook. But a bowl of hot oats was the only thing they could use, not because it was delicious, but because it matched their condition at that moment. Oats are not only easy to cook, but also easy to eat. For people over 50, especially when tired or without appetite, a light, warm, and simple meal is often much more comfortable than heavy dishes. It does not make you too full, but enough to keep you going. Biologically, oats provide slow, absorbing carbohydrates and fiber, helping maintain stable energy and prevent sudden drops in strength. For people over 50, this is not an added benefit. It is necessary to maintain a stable condition throughout the day. But the greatest value of oats is not in nutrition, it is in usability. In a crisis, what runs out first is not always food, but fuel. When there is no gas, when electricity is unstable, cooking becomes a problem. And at that point, what matters most is not what you have, but whether you can use it or not. Oats are one of the very few foods you can prepare with minimal conditions. Rice gives you energy, beans help you maintain strength, fish helps you stay alert, salt keeps you from collapsing, peanut butter keeps you from exhaustion. Oats are what help you continue eating when you no longer have enough strength. The way to use it is very simple. Just hot water or cook it quickly for a few minutes. No skill needed, no complex preparation. This is a type of food that almost anyone can use, even in the most exhausted state. For storage, just keep it dry, sealed, and away from moisture. No refrigeration needed, no special conditions required. If stored properly, oats can last a long time. In terms of price, it is cheap and easy to store, but its value is not in the cost. It is in the fact that when you need it, you can still use it. Of course, oats cannot fully replace other sources of nutrition. It does not provide enough protein or fat. But it does not need to do that. Its role is to keep you going. In reality, what makes people collapse is not always hunger, but when they no longer have the ability to eat. A simple, familiar meal can help you stay calm, maintain a sense of control, and oats do that. Finally, remember, you may have a lot of food, but if you cannot cook it, you will still face problems. Oats are not what help you live the best, but when you are at your weakest, they are what help you still have enough strength to continue. In the end, remember one very clear thing. You may have a lot of food, but if you cannot use it when needed, it is almost meaningless. Rice keeps you from collapsing. Beans keep you from weakening. Fish keeps you from slowing down. Salt keeps you from collapsing. And oats help you keep going. This is not a list of foods. This is a system simple enough to maintain, but strong enough so you do not become the weakest person when things start to get difficult. Because in reality, you do not lose because you lack food. You lose because you prepare wrong. And if you think what you have just seen is enough, then you are missing things that very few people talk about. In the next video, I will share 12 types of dried foods that people preparing for disasters almost never talk about online. Things that are lighter, more durable, and can completely change the way you prepare.